welcome to this week's edition of the Research Sofa. I'm here today with Ruby Fell, who's a mental health nurse and works in the PQ unit. So Ruby, could you tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing in the PQ unit recently?
Yeah, sure. So I recently qualified as a mental health nurse in September, and I started working on male PQ ward. So the ward itself has been doing over the past year or so a lot of QI work for violence reduction, and a lot of it's been focused on improving physical health as well for our mental health patients in male PQ. So their work has consisted of encouraging more exercise and better nutrition with a fitness instructor and cooking sessions on the ward, which has had a fantastic result over the last year and a half. So I got myself thinking, what other areas of physical health could be improved from what staff have said, from speaking to patients, what they felt would be helpful. So a PQ environment can at times be quite chaotic and intense, and it can be quite overwhelming for other patients on the ward as well. So I found that creating a space where patients could go to relax and get away from the sometimes overwhelming parts of the ward would be really useful. So I spoke with other staff members, and we also found that sleep was an area that needed to be improved for patients on the ward. So when we got thinking, I was thinking about how I like to unwind and how I, when I go to bed, the sort of like rituals that you do in preparation, and how I like to sort of disconnect and have that sort of mindfulness space. So we decided that we would trial mindfulness tracks like body scan meditations and visualization meditations, and just spend some time with the patients in a quiet space where they can listen to the mindfulness tracks and just really relax, and give them a space where they can lay down, they can fall asleep if they want to, or which often happens. So we set up in one of the rooms, we have this, it's like a galaxy projector that sort of shines all the lights on the ceiling. We've laid down yoga mats, and we'll play meditation tracks for the patients to listen to. Some of them are 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And we've had a really, really great response. Some of the patients, we're trying to get their input as well. So some of them have requested to use aromatherapy in the group. So using diffusers and a lavender scent, say. We've recently introduced herbal tea at the end of the session to prolong it, as we're finding that patients are wanting to come back more and more. We try to run one session each day. Sometimes we have patients coming twice a day asking for a third session. So that's what we're doing on the ward at the moment.
It sounds like a really great initiative, and the patients sound like they really like it. What kind of feedback have you had about it from them?
We've had some really, really great feedback. One of the patients, he is quite spiritual, and he told us that he would use that time also to sort of silently pray for himself, so to have that space where he wasn't disturbed. It is a silent group, and he found that experience helped him a lot, and in terms of having that sort of spiritual element, that really worked for him. Some other patients as well. I remember one session, a patient became a little bit upset at the end, and I said, what's the matter? And he said that he feels like he can just feel emotions, and he was given a space to breathe and just to feel this tension that he was building up. So we've had great feedback in terms of they know it's a safe space where they can just sort of let go and relax. A lot of patients as well do tend to fall asleep, so they enjoy that element as well, especially if it's a tense environment and they're not able to get all the sleep they need, and yet 5 minutes, 10 minutes of listening to meditation, and they are out like a light. So sometimes that's a great response as well. We encourage staff to join in as well if a patient is on one-to-one, or if a staff member is free, we'd say, would you like to join in? And for staff as well, we've had great feedback about generally boosting morale on the team. I have staff members come up to me and say, oh, are you doing the group today? Let me know. Oh, can we time it with my lunch break so I can come and join in? So it's been really great feedback.
Yeah, it sounds really good, especially, you know, the inclusion of the staff. And what do you think your sort of vision for the future of it is?
So we're hoping to continue developing it, asking patients and staff what elements they like about it, if there's anything they would change, anything they want to introduce. For instance, the aromatherapy element was suggested by a patient, and the herbal tea element was also, I think the staff and patients both suggested that. So we're trying to sort of really refine it and figure out what works well, what can be altered, and we do change it to the needs of the patients. And then hopefully sort of get the word out about it, and maybe go to other wards and show them how they can replicate it on their ward. It's so simple. It doesn't take much at all, so long as you've got a quiet space and can plug in a track and play one of the meditations. It's really quite simple. So I think it could be replicated across other wards. So hopefully that is what we're looking to do in the future.
Well, thanks for coming and talking to us today about this. It just sounds, such a lovely initiative for people, for both the people on the wards and for the staff too. So really pleased to have you with us today and hear what you've been doing. So, good luck with extending it to further wards. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. It's been my pleasure. Thanks very much.